hell's going on? How am I watching us? I'm watching us on your half. Like an hour ago. I'm like, wow, we were really on top of things back then.
So much has changed in the last hour.
Yeah, I know. All right, that's better. Oh, look, it looks like we're live. Cool. All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Awesome Hardware. This is a show about technology. We stream it live to youtube.com/Paul's Hardware, as well as Kyle's channel, Bitwit, every Tuesday evening. Every Tuesday evening at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We also stream live to twitch.tv/Awesome Hardware. The entire thing. You're currently watching the second half of episode 114. So if you missed the first half, you can catch it on Kyle's channel. Again, Bitwit. And that link is in the video's description. And then you will discover how we have gotten to the point where we're at right now, which is that we've discussed some technology things. We've drank a few beers, and we've generally had a wonderful time, I think. It's been great so far.
Yeah, it's been great.
On my half of the show, we're going to discuss MS Paint, which is just a massive controversy right now.
What is up with that?
Other fascinating things. We have an actual real live Threadripper motherboard, an X399 motherboard. Not just like one of the random samples that they show you at Computex or something. No, but the actual full-on retail box version. Some of that information has been coming out, so we'll be going over that as well.
Oh, yeah.
And a quick word of warning to those of you guys who are watching us. We do drink some beer on the show as we discuss technology. Occasionally, we let slip with a pejorative or foul language to some degree or another, so apologies for that.
Penis.
Like Kyle's demonstrating right now. So we don't recommend this show for youngsters, or at least those who are not mature enough to understand that it is only in the most dire of need that grown men utter expletives in order to reinforce their points or that kind of thing.
We generally cry the word penis at the beginning of every show to deter all of the immature people away.
Yes, we do. That's a great way of doing that.
Mature people only
Penis.
will hear the penis call. Penis. Take it away, Paul.
Alright. So I wish I had a song to go into. When you say take it away, Paul, I'm like, oh god, this is my music number right now. I'm supposed to
and the beat comes in.
Cue music or whatever. We are drinking beer though, so a quick hello to the beer and cheers to you guys. I'm drinking Ellie's Brown Ale, which is from Avery Brewing Company, a delicious brown ale. Kyle's drinking Ruin 10.
Ruin 10 from Stone.
It's a Stone IPA.
It's a 10.8% beer, and it feels like it. This is the last.
That's a heavy IPA.
It's very heavy.
IPA is usually not quite that strong when it comes to the alcohol content.
Indeed.
If you'd like to help support our channels and support us and the things that we do, check out our stores. paulshardware.net is mine. Look at all these wonderful things I have. I feel bad because I don't have anything new. But it's all good stuff, the stuff that's there. Pint glasses, shirts, and mugs. And buy stuff during the show. We'll shout out your name at the end. Kyle's store has the fantastically popular fidget spinner. We'll be sold out.
10 minutes ago.
We'll be sold out soon, I imagine.
Like, I'm not planning to restock these. I'm not planning to restock these, so this is your last chance. Your only chance to get these.
Chance to get the Bitwit
Probably sold about
spinner.
15 of them in the last half of the show, so...
They're going fast,
They're
folks.
going quick. Go ahead and buy them up.
So check our stores out, and if you buy stuff, thanks, and you're awesome.
Penis fidgets.
And penis fidget spinner. What? Why are there... I don't know.
Just brilliant marketing ideas from Chad, as always.
It's the way... That's how you sell stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers!
Free penises.
Thanks to all of you guys for joining us today.
Love you.
Okay.
So what's all this hubbubaloo about MS Paint?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Kyle, because the first story we're going to talk about in news is the death of Microsoft Paint. MS Paint,
no!
according to this article on The Verge, is getting killed off in the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update.
What?
That's not the Creators Update right now. That is the Fall Creators Update.
Oh my god, are you serious?
So, obviously, much sadness has spread across the internet. Everyone loves Paint. Paint's awesome. Basically, all right, so let's be more specific here. Let's not spread FUD or fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and let's give people the actual information. What has happened here is that Microsoft has listed Microsoft Paint as a deprecated feature in the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update. Now, what that means is a deprecated feature is something that will not be in active development and may be removed in future releases.
No!
So that doesn't mean it's being removed right now. It just means they're putting it on, like, the endangered species list. Like, this, we get off this at any time. Like, it's there, it's on life support.
Wait.
We could just kill it if we want.
Does this mean if you already have MS Paint, it'll stay there? Or does it mean even if you have MS Paint already, a future update could wipe it from your system?
As of right now, it's not going to be wiped from your system or anything like that. So don't worry about Paint suddenly being gone. Because like we said, deprecated feature doesn't mean it's gone right now. It means they could get rid of it in the future. Presumably, if they got rid of it in the future and you were doing Windows updates, then yes, the standard application-based launch this and it's Microsoft Paint might be gone.
Then they're getting rid of it soon. That's what it means. There's no reason they would do this unless they're planning to get rid of it soon.
We don't know for sure, but we do know a little bit more information about Paint in general. Now, Microsoft has issued a statement on this, which we'll be getting to in just a moment, which will pretty much clear up all its confusion and doubt and everything. But first, a quick look back on the history of Paint.
Oh, it sounds exciting.
Yes, an educational bit, perhaps, with some research that I did earlier today.
Fascinating.
For instance, did you know that Paint started as a 1-bit monochrome version that was released alongside Windows 1.0 in November of 1985?
We've come a long way.
You're right, that's 32 years ago. 32 goddamn years ago, Microsoft Paint came out. It's of course widely known for what might be seen as rudimentary or basic looking pixel bitmaps that people design with MS Paint, but it has also evolved over the years to allow you to do other things besides just draw in monochrome 1-bit color. And in fact, now it serves as not an equivalent to the photo manipulation applications that you might have with something like an Adobe Photoshop, but certainly something that is capable of doing your basic copy and paste, drawing an arrow on something, or making just something that looks like a penis to send to your friends.
That's
one
what
of
I mostly
which
use
is
it
one
for.
of the most useful things that you can do for it. So Microsoft posted a blog, and this is actually from today. So the Paint news, as far as Paint being deprecated, kind of dropped yesterday. Today, though, Microsoft responded. They followed up and they said, "No, look at this picture we drew in Paint that says we still love MS Paint."
But they're still gonna kill it.
They're not necessarily
going to kill it.
Our systems. So do not despair. Do not despair, Kyle. The blog has announced that Paint is actually here to stay. It will be moved from its current home as a default installed app with Windows to a free Windows Store app.
Okay. I can live with that.
Now, I don't know if that means that like the installed as a default will be gone and you'll have to like go to the Microsoft Store and look up Paint and download it and install it.
Either way.
But it will still be there.
A huge deal.
So they're not killing it off entirely, for those of you who are super worried about that. But this does seem like perhaps something that they're doing in order to sort of keep people away from Paint just a little bit, in order to put more attention on the replacement applications that they've been developing. Like they have an app called Paint 3D that was launched with the Creators Update recently. It's a 2D and 3D Paint-like app. And you know what I thought? I thought we could do right now. Assuming, hold on.
Do you use Paint? I use Paint all the time.
What?
Do you use Paint, Paul?
Paul. Paint.
Do you use Paint?
Yeah, I use Paint all the time.
I do too. It's great for certain very simple things that...
Do I not have the... Maybe I don't have the Creators Update on this system yet. Oh, I got an order. Paint 3D. All right, sorry. I was gonna bring up Paint 3D and show you guys right now, but maybe it's entirely possible that I have not updated this system to Creators Update yet. But if you have the Creators Update, then Paint 3D is just there. It's just on your system. But I haven't had a chance to play around with it yet. But there you go. So
Very
paint
sad. Very sad.
is not going away, but it is changing as far as where it lives, and who knows, maybe this is the beginning of the end as people sort of just slowly stop using it because it becomes a thing that you need to actively go and get rather than is just there.
Comes with it.
And as they start pushing people into other applications that they maybe favor over paint because they're younger and fresher. They have,
I feel like
perky breasts.
Because here's what I use MS Paint for, like almost on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, is when I need to show you guys in some review or benchmark video that I've done, just a screen cap, just a generic screen cap of my desktop with all of my, my CPU-Z, GPU-Z, hardware monitor, all the statistics and data out on the desktop. It's easier for me to just print screen and paste that into MS Paint and save it than snip it. Then use the snipping tool because, as you and I both know, Paul, snipping tool has a limit of 1920 by 1080 and it won't allow you to snip anything further than that, which is why I've resorted in recent years to just print screening and pasting that straight into Paint and saving that as an image so that I can later put in my videos. So this affects me, like as a reviewer, in a deep way that I'm glad that we can still access Paint, MS Paint in the App Store. I mean, at least we have that. But
yeah, I mean, for benchmarking in particular, like I find it very useful to just take quick screen caps and, like you said, bypass the limitations of the snipping tool.
Yeah, stupid snipping tool.
Yeah, snipping tool sucks.
Just snipping tool. It's not a matter of like I'll miss MS Paint so much. It's like, why the hell don't you just make snipping tool better? I don't know.
Thank you for all all the dog emojis in chat.
Yes.
Let's move on to our next story, though.
Yep.
Foxconn. You guys are all familiar, at least to some degree, with Foxconn. Foxconn is possibly going to be investing in the United States. They're Taiwanese-based company, of course.
Hold on, really quick. Did you know that Windows Key Plus print screen will snap a photo for you? I didn't know that, so that's good to know. I'll try that out sometime. Instead of having to use Paint altogether. If that can just create a photo somewhere, then I've never done that before. Windows Key Plus print screen. You ever done it? Ever tried it? I'll try anything once. I'll try anything.
That sounds
once.
That sounds like it might be
oddly suspicious.
Like that whole Alt F4, like press Alt F4. That's a shortcut for this.
Yeah. Just try heroin once. It won't mean
exactly.
Anything. It'll change your life. Whatever.
All right, Foxconn reportedly is nearing a decision to invest in a display factory in Wisconsin, here in the good old US of A. Foxconn is a Taiwanese manufacturer, and they might hold an event in Washington, D.C. as soon as this week to announce some more specifics on this plan to invest in the United States. The factory would make display panels that could be used in large screen electronics like televisions, according to this article on Mac Rumors, which is where I'm deriving this information. The article specifically says, last month, Foxconn chairman Terry Gao confirmed that Foxconn is interested in investing at least $10 billion towards U.S. manufacturing in 7 different states: Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Texas. The Wisconsin factory that's specifically being referenced here would cost at least $7 billion, so that does eat up a good 70% of that promised $10 billion. But Gao said it could create tens of thousands of American jobs. Jobs, which are good. Jobs in America are good. We want more jobs and more jobs for more people.
Yep.
Especially in specific states that might have suffered from economic downturn, such as what happened in like 2008 and stuff like that. So we're all for more jobs, but we're all for honesty as well. So to be perfectly honest, there is some possibility that in their estimations of like, look at all these jobs it's bringing in, they might be talking about the jobs that go into the building of the plant. And once the plant is built, because there is a lot of automation that they're also talking about going on with this plant, the actual number of long-term jobs that will exist after it's built might be less than their current estimation of tens of thousands.
Okay.
So it is something to keep an eye on, of course, because we want to make sure that if people are promising to make investments in America, that Americans are able to, go and work and make
Right.
stuff. And something like a display factory, that's pretty cool, actually. Of course, Foxconn is associated with Apple. They make a lot of iPhones and iDevices and Apple devices and stuff like that.
Indeed.
So it's possible that it might not just be large-scale displays that they're manufacturing here at this factory, but potentially smaller displays for devices like iPhones and other Apple-derived things.
Sure.
Lord knows there's no shortage of those. But yeah, good news if you're in Wisconsin, I guess, and if you're looking for a factory job. And again, like we said, hopefully lots of those jobs are jobs that are here to stay and not jobs that are just there for like building up of this stuff, because they're probably, Foxconn is not necessarily known for treating its base level factory workers, employees, with the most respect and
fairness.
And the
This is why they have mesh nets.
the suicide nets and all those kinds of stuff.
They have
Sorry
nets,
about the dogs.
safety nets around the borders of their rooftops.
Why are the dogs freaking out? See, my solution for the dogs is to yell at them, and if I yell at them, that will make things even worse. I don't yell at them that often.
Shut up, Dags.
But I would like them to shut up when they're yelling, when they're barking all loud. All right. Speaking of Wisconsin, here's another Wisconsin company. I don't know whether there's a Wisconsin theme. What the hell's going on out there? My God.
Lots of throat clearing and nose sniffling.
Yeah. So there's a company in Wisconsin called 3 Square Market, and they're going to microchip their employees, or at least the employees that say that it's okay.
As well they should.
So 3 Square Market.
Taking those long lunches. Microchipped, bitch.
Is this video playing?
That's the number one way you improve company morale, is by just microchipping all your employees to know that they are under lock at all times and under supervision. Might as well install like a freaking camera in their eyelids so that you see everything they're doing.
Look at this. Why is this guy? Oh, he's at one of their kiosks or whatever.
It's the Jetsons. That's how we know we're in the future.
Anyway, so basically, the idea is that they're going to get RFID chips implanted in their employees. This is potentially for the sake of convenience, since 3 Square Market is a company that provides technology for mini markets and kiosks. This video is still playing. Stop it. Stop it. Shut up. So, of course, they would be interested in added convenience for people being able to, pay for stuff at their kiosks and whatnot. Is it convenience, or is it like surveillance? Are people being tracked by these implants that are going into them? Probably not, but maybe. But we could speculate on that and say maybe.
I don't know.
Or it could be that the implant is the mark of the beast, the sign of the beast, and the world is going to end as a result of this.
Clearly.
The CEO, Todd Westby, says this is the future, though. This is obviously the future. The workers of this company, 3 Square Market, are not being forced to enroll, but about 50 employees, including the CEO, Westby, and his family, are all going to get chipped on August 1st.
Cool.
Just about a week.
It's exciting.
Again, the rest of the employees, they don't have to do this.
But if they want to, they can.
It's not, but everyone else is doing it.
Peer pressure? No pressure,
That's all I'm saying.
Everyone else is doing it, yeah.
Yes. Getting chipped actually involves getting a syringe that injects the chip itself into the space between.
That would be my biggest barrier to entry. It's like, how big of a needle are you going to stick inside of my body? Oh, that's it? Hell no.
Well, I have good news, Kyle.
Oh, you do?
Because you remember Land Syndicate, right?
I do.
Right,
I remember Kane getting his...
I have some video of Kane getting this exact procedure done right now.
No, Jesus!
I'm going to show you guys.
No, the needle's so big.
It goes right into that space.
The needle's so big.
And then you can see it right there.
Oh, look at that. Look at how freaking huge! Look at how you're sticking that piece of metal in his body. Look at Kane's like, I just need to talk. I just need to talk and talk so I don't come as a bitch.
That wasn't nearly as bad as
oh my God, it hurts so bad.
Pieces of metal I have in my ears. Yes,
this is so industrial in my hand.
It is an RFID chip that gets implanted into your hand.
Fucking Lord.
It can be scanned from 6 inches away. And that syringe containing the chip, which is about the size of a grain of rice, is slid underneath the skin between your thumb and your forefinger. The employees of the company 3 Square Market can use this now to open doors that require identification cards, to log into computers, to operate copy machines, or to pay for snacks out of the company's vending machines.
It just seems like such an invasive process to... I don't know, to make very simple, already simple things easier. Like how much effort does it take you to open the door, or to get your card out to open a door, go through a passageway, versus how much interference with your own body and morals does that the RFID thing cost you? Why don't you just have a key in your
when Kane did it, I was like, oh, that's cool. It's steampunk and future cyborg stuff.
That's the only reason you would do it.
And Kane
is because it's cool.
Knows how to program stuff that'll work with it and use it and everything like that. But a company that's hey, all of our employees get this now, somehow seems to just to move over into the area of
corporation or whatever.
Oh, that's a little scary or whatever. Obviously, this is the first company that's done it, and it's only voluntary or whatever, but still seems a little bit scarier.
I feel like if honestly, I have nothing against the implants. It's just a matter of I hate needles, first off. Okay, so there's some bias there. Who loves needles though? Who loves getting injected with fucking metal barbs or whatever? So first of all, I don't like needles, but I'd be so much more into this whole thing if you could just do way cooler shit with it than open doors. It's not like you're fucking Magneto.
Well, I mean, if there was some kind of universal identification system that was run by the government or something like that, then theoretically it could be something that operated as a universal identification chip. I don't know how often it would need to be replaced or that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's sexy though.
It is passive, so it theoretically cannot be hacked. It's not like somebody could walk by you with some piece of technology that could suddenly reprogram the chip, so suddenly you don't have access to it or whatever. There's no GPS involved, so it's not tracking you as you move around or anything like that. It is purely an RFID bit of information that can be scanned by radio frequency. So there are uses for it, but there's also limitations to it. But there's also questions as to, again, how viable it is for long-term use, and also how regular it becomes as far as something that you can just here's a payment method, let me just scan my hand and now it's gone, and it knows my bank accounts and it's taking the money out, and now I have this very convenient means of pay or something like that.
I would do it for that. If you could just go to the grocery store and just pay for shit and just be
which it might be eventually.
I
mean, something like that. But obviously there's a lot of pushback on something like this. The technology itself was actually approved by the FDA or FCC or whatever governing body needed to approve it. Approved it in 2004. There were there were protests against it because people were oh, this is the sign of the beast, being some permanent thing that's getting implanted in people or put on them or whatever, or something like that. So there's religious pushback on it, possibly. And then there's also the price, at least in the article. $300 a piece is what the company in the article was charging. The company that Tech Syndicate worked with at Land Syndicate was called BioImplants, and I thought it was more like $100 for the one that Kane did, but I don't remember exactly, so I'm not totally positive there. But, yeah. Basically, there's no ethical or privacy or religious concerns with this technology at all, and we should all move on.
Yeah. We'll do it together. The day that either of us do it, if you decide to do it one day, I'll do it with you. And vice versa. If I do it one day, you have to do it with me.
It needs to be useful enough to be worth it.
Yes.
And it needs to be something where I know that there's a unique... The information on that chip needs to be unique in such a way that I can go to wherever it might be scanned that identifies it as me.
It needs to be universal.
There needs to be no possibility of somebody's being able to spoof that and somehow making it pretend that they're themselves. and then maybe it might be something that's viable.
Yeah.
And then that's when we'll move into the end times, and Jesus will come back, and the world will burn the fires of damnation.
Can't wait.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Next story, Corsair. I tweeted this earlier this week, and I don't know if any of you guys spotted it, but it was a specific article from PC Perspective talking about Corsair and Corsair potentially being purchased for $500 million US.
Whoa. Wow, that's a lot.
This article is from PC Perspective. It was originally sourced from Reuters, which was based on 2 anonymous sources saying Eagle Tree Capital is in late-stage discussions to acquire Corsair.
Who the hell is Eagle Tree Capital?
Eagle Tree Capital is a private equity firm with several backers, including Goldman Sachs, the Macquarie Group, and BNP Paribas.
What does this mean for gamers?
We don't really know yet because it's a rumor, and we don't know if it's true. Now, my initial tweet about this was obviously a bit negative. This rumor, if true, is bad news for fans of Corsair. But I'll be completely honest here.
So you took a disliking to
I saw this
potential.
I saw this article from PC Perspective. I read the article. I tweeted my initial response, which is that whenever I see large companies acquiring smaller companies, I have sort of a trend, a historical trend in my mind of the companies that are acquired not doing as well afterwards for a variety of different reasons.
Right.
There's another article in New York Times about this if you guys want to read a bit more, but both of these are linked in the description if you guys want to check it out.
Kind of like they're moving further away from their like original creative mantra, or whatever sort of beliefs that they had, and are now being overrun by this larger conglomerate company that's just sort of a corporate machine type of thing.
Potentially.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I see that time and time again. I feel like that applies to
and we've seen that
any
happen.
scenario. Yeah, of course.
Now, to be fair, after I made this tweet, Corsair actually got in touch with me. Oh, no.
You'll take back every word you fucking said, Paul.
Hero.
Or we'll never give you another mid-tower case for sampling reviews again. You promise!
Lie down.
Yeah.
Lie down.
Of course, sir, we don't fuck around, man. That's what they did, right?
Sorry, I'm trying to get...
They had a gun to your head.
No.
Did you see, like, Corsair Justin, Corsair
they
George?
They didn't ask me to change anything.
Paul. Oh, no, okay.
But obviously, in a situation like this...
Better men than I thought.
In a situation like this, there are sensitivities that need to be accommodated. Let's
one more beer.
What?
Give me one more beer.
Did you finish your IPA? Oh, it's empty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like anything?
I'm okay for now.
Sorry?
Stop freaking the dog out.
No, I can't help it.
Nori.
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 Alright.
Sorry.
Alright.
Kyle moved too quickly, and Nori thought that it might be something of concern. Okay.
Let's go.
Nori. Okay, so let me run through some of this information since I have information about this. Eagle Tree, again, is a private equity firm. They have several backers, including Goldman Sachs, the Macquarie Group, and BNP Paribas. Corsair, as a company you guys might be familiar with, manufactures lots of things when it comes to computers. Not just memory, but also fans, cases, CPU coolers, and memory devices, USB. There's lots of other stuff. External human interface devices, keyboard, mice, headsets, lots of things. Corsair was incorporated in California in January of 1994. They afterwards reincorporated in Delaware under a couple different names, but they're incorporated in Delaware. They were founded as Corsair Microsystems in '94 by Andy Paul, Don Lieberman, and John Beakley, and Andy Paul remains the president and CEO today. Corsair had initial plans for an IPO, or initial public offering, in 2013, but they did not continue after they received a $75 million investment from Francisco Partners. Now, Eagle Tree, with their potential buyout of Corsair would be making a roughly 40% equity contribution to the purchase price. They're expected to pay 9 to 10 times Corsair's earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization of roughly $55 million. This puts the value of the company at around $525 million at the midpoint.
Wow.
Now, my tweet about this was obviously somewhat negative, and that's because I have seen companies that get bought out by larger companies that are then exploited by those companies.
Sure.
And that's a word that I hate when it comes to business, because they're like, how can we exploit this?
Yeah.
How can we take this established brand that has a certain number of fans that follow it and a certain number of a certain amount of expectation when it comes to quality and service and everything like that, and how can we then cut as much costs as we can from the day-to-day ongoings of that company and the production for the products that they make to maximize the profit that we're making on that, and then ride that out for 2, 3, 4, 5 years until people realize from the public perspective that that company has now gone to shit, because the focus is now 100% on how much profit can be made versus the quality of the products or everything that goes into that.
So basically you're saying, like, whenever a big company acquires a smaller company, it's almost like that bigger company is trying to just make a quick buck at the expense of the company that they bought turning into inevitable shit.
I'm saying that can happen, and I've seen that happen, but that does not always happen.
But that's the thing that could potentially happen, is
that
what you're saying.
Could happen.
Yeah, I agree.
But it all depends
100%.
But it all depends on the company that's buying the smaller company out.
Sure.
And how that company wants to treat that company.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some who's like, we've just bought this profitable company. They seem to be doing a pretty good job. Let's leave the people who are running that company in charge and let them do their thing, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, hopefully that's what happens with Corsair.
Right.
If this is true, and if Corsair gets purchased.
Yeah.
But there's obviously also the other route that it can go. So all this is to say that I myself, from my personal point of view, and maybe you guys as well, would be keeping a close eye on Corsair and what happens over the next 1, 2, 3 years or months or however long it goes, if this is an actual thing that goes through and actually happens. Because I don't know about you guys, but I like a lot of Corsair's products.
Me too.
I think they have a lot of good people working for them.
They do.
And I think those people have a lot to do with the good products that they put out.
Absolutely.
And I hope they can keep doing that.
Yeah. Usually when a bigger company acquires a smaller company, they either just want to redo the carpets and the floors and the ceilings. They want to redo everything, and they want to, like, bring in their own people and do a bunch of consulting and shit. Or they're like, we acquired you because you're already good. You're solid. You don't need much work. We like the creative aspect you bring, and we want to keep all the same managerial positions that you currently have and just continue flourishing that, just now being under our wing, which is what I hope works out for Corsair should they undertake this deal, is that all of the existing managers and directors and executives at the company remain where they are, because they're doing a hell of a job. Corsair is still pumping out some pretty good products, and it would suck if some big-ass company just bought them out and was like, no, now a bunch of people who have no idea what PC hardware even means are in charge, and they will be making the decisions from here on out, and I feel like oftentimes that's what can lead a company into the shitter when acquired by a bigger one, is that the creative direction is no longer there and replaced, as opposed to being acknowledged and appreciated and and believed in. So
hopefully Eagle Tree is going to bring Corsair on as an asset that they hopefully will continue to support, to grow and thrive and keep doing what they've been doing, rather than bringing Corsair on in order to make as much money as they possibly can out of them over the next few years before driving the Corsair brand into the dirt. Yeah. We will be keeping an eye out, and for now, there's no reason to suddenly decide that you hate Corsair or anything like that.
No.
But, you know, it's the type of thing that we should be aware of, and we'll keep you guys up to date if we receive any more information on that.
Yep.
All right. One more story here from the general news segment, and that is about a recycling robot, which I thought was, kind of interesting.
Recycling robot named Clark?
Yes, his name is Clark.
That's adorable.
It could be the keys to reducing waste. So There's actually a link to a PDF in here. So all right, so Clark makes use of an artificial intelligence to recognize and sort food and beverage containers. Hold on, make this bigger.
To recognize and sort food and beverage containers.
Yeah. So there we go. So you can see this is part of Clark right here on the right. He has already been deployed in a municipal waste facility in Denver, Colorado. He uses a visible light camera to spot milk, juice, and food cartons and pull them out using a robotic arm and suction cups. You can see right down there.
Sounds highly technical.
Yeah, it's super. It doesn't seem quite as fancy when it's like a conveyor belt of shit that's going by, but it's recycling stuff.
Goes into the process.
It's recycling stuff. So
that's
it recognizes the products. The items that it pulls out are diverted from the landfill and sent to the appropriate recycling facility. Clark can process 60 items per minute. It has 90% accuracy.
Wow.
And it's about 50% faster than a human would be doing the same task. This results in a 50% reduction in sorting costs for this particular company.
90% accuracy is not too bad.
That's not bad at all.
60 items a minute. That's one item a second.
I mean, consider it's literally looking through the garbage and shit that people toss in their trash cans.
Yeah, and one item a second is more than any
to go in there and pull out stuff. Like plastic bins, cartons, and that kind of thing.
Right.
Now, bear in mind, so obviously you can look at this from a very positive perspective. It's recycling, saving the planet, right? Taking plastic and doing good with it.
Hell yeah.
Also consider Clark is an AI-based system, so the more Clark works, the smarter Clark gets.
Oh no.
The article is quoted as saying, even though this first system is picking up cartons, it's actually watching and learning from all the other commodities that it's seeing as well. What might Clark be learning from those other commodities? Only the AI knows for sure.
He's going to take over the world eventually.
Right now, Clark can identify and say, oh, that's a number 1 plastic bottle container, but they want it to be able to say, oh, that's a Pepsi bottle, that's a Gatorade bottle. They want it to be brand aware.
Which is exactly the information they need to conquer the world.
Probably.
Somehow that makes sense.
That's obviously where we're going with this.
Good Lord.
So
we're all in trouble, people. We're all in trouble. It's the recycle bots that will do us in.
You know, our initial perspective about Clark here is positive. You know, he's doing the Lord's work. He's sorting the stuff, get the recyclables out. We just don't want Clark to become self-aware.
He will become self-aware and destroy us all.
Yeah.
That's what Clark is.
Most likely.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next segment, which is going to be
hot and heavy hardware.
So I have a few bits of hardware to talk about today. Let's start out by closing all these tabs. There's too many tabs open. Hold on.
Fucking Clark.
Hold on.
I can't sleep. I won't be able to sleep tonight.
You're worried about Clark?
I'll be having nightmares about Clark.
Clark's coming for me. He's gonna sort my plastics.
He knows the plastics from the aluminums.
What happened to that article? My article disappeared. Hold on.
Yeah, so the first article in Hot and Heavy Hardware is about the Asus ROG Zenith Extreme X399 Threadripper motherboard.
Look at that.
Unboxed. Who had the privilege of... Oh, Chip Hell had the privilege of unboxing this amazing
so this is a...
motherboard.
This is a...
It's Chinese motherfucker.
Videocards.com article, but it is via Chip Hell, which is a Chinese language-based website.
Hell yeah.
They have a series of pictures here unboxing the ROG Zenith Extreme. It is a high-end motherboard.
No shit.
I mean, it's ROG, it's Zenith. They've never had a Zenith before because since ROG has existed, AMD has not had a high-end desktop platform for them to need to create a code name for.
This is true.
Which is kind of cool. So a Zenith is what they've named this. This would be equivalent to Rampage.
Rampage, yeah.
On the Intel side.
Oh, yeah.
And the Extreme, it means it's pretty damn high-end. It means it's got most of what Asus wants to toss at it. They have a quick look at the accessory kit that is included here. Damn. And you can see there's lots of accessories. You can actually see what is most likely a actual Threadripper processor right up here, hidden underneath what I assume is maybe is that a 10 gigabit Ethernet card? Maybe.
Possibly.
I don't know. I would expect something like a 10 gigabit Ethernet card with something like this.
It's possible.
I'd also expect it to cost $500 to $600. It comes with Wi-Fi antennas, a PCIe Ethernet card. Why would they do an add-on card unless it was 10 gigabit? There's no reason for them to put an add-on.
Of course.
Standard gigabit connector. So yeah, a VGA holder, which maybe is this bracket right here. Keep
sag.
Eliminate the sag. The Asus DIMM 2 extension card, which I don't know if there's a closer picture of, but
you can see at least the DIMM slot if you go one picture, one picture. So you see the slot on the very right.
What looks like an extra DIMM slot here is actually them using an existing DIMM slot, like a DDR4 slot,
like a PCB.
To put a riser card in that you can slot in an M.2 into.
Right. Two of them, right? I think there's one on either side.
Maybe. I don't know for sure.
The one I saw at Computex had like an M.2 on either side, but don't quote me on that. But that'd be pretty cool if that was the case.
That's possible. Kyle, you heard it from Kyle first.
You heard it from me first.
But yeah, Wi-Fi antenna, the DIMM.2 card, and there's an LCD screen on there somewhere apparently.
To the LCD.
I don't see the LCD screen. I don't know what they're talking about there. Dual 8-pin CPU power connectors that are both in the top right here, so that's also kind of interesting. But yeah, for anyone who's excited about Threadripper, this is probably going to be a pretty sweet motherboard for it. There's that DIMM.2 card, actually, the expansion card.
Oh yeah, there it is.
So I think you might be right, actually, Kyle, because there's a series of mounting points right along here, and then there's a secondary series right here, which would only make sense if there was an additional mounting point on the opposite side.
Yeah, that's what I remember from looking at the demo. I was like, oh, there's one on either side, but you know.
I think you are correct about that one.
All right, cool.
So that is the ROG Zenith Extreme X399 motherboard.
Beautiful.
It is EATX, so it is large as well. But pretty cool to see right now. JJ actually did a quick unboxing of this on his Twitter as well just recently.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited about that one.
Very cool.
Hopefully can get my hands on it. Next up on Hot and Heavy Hardware, this is actually a hardware review, and it's just one that I thought you guys might find interesting if you weren't already familiar with it. Hadn't seen it. It's on Gamers Nexus. It's specifically about streaming and gaming at the same time.
What were the results on this? I mean, an 8-core versus a 4-core, both hyper-threaded, or whatever you want to call it, multi-threaded. Yes. What findings did they have? I didn't get a chance to watch this video in its entirety, but I saw it and I was like, "This is gonna be a good video." What did they find? What were the? Give us the TLDR, Paul.
Well, here's what they did. I'm trying to cue this up so I can show you guys.
Better cue it up. You better cue the shit out of it.
The way Steve and company did this particular review was, first off, they went in to try to figure out how the heck do you even benchmark gaming and streaming at the same time, because there's so many different variables that might come into play when it comes to the software you might use, the encoding hardware that you might use, whether you're encoding on the CPU, whether you're encoding on the GPU, whether you're encoding on the CPU's iGPU.
Yeah.
All those are different various options that they might choose. Now with the video, the way he actually did it was they start off by showing the actual performance without telling you which is which. And if you guys are watching this right now, you can probably tell with a quick glance, the one on the left is incredibly smooth, the one on the right is dropping frames left and right.
So is the one on the right the Intel CPU?
I don't know. Spoiler alert. For any of you guys who don't want spoilers, stop the video now and go watch that.
Stop now.
But yeah, the article as well as the video are linked in this video's description, so you guys can check it out. But they were testing not just the frames that were output to the stream, so they monitored drop frames on the stream itself. They also monitored frames delivered to the game itself, and they were just looking for 16.7 millisecond frame time. Or maintaining a 60 frame FPS, just what most people would want on your typical gaming monitor. They also tested different situations such as upping process prioritization. So just so you guys know, since we've given enough time since the spoiler alert here, the one that's all choppy on the right is the 7600K. The one on the left is the R7 1700. So this has been stated quite a few times, as Steve says at the beginning of this, that you would expect a processor with more threads and more cores to be able to outperform a processor with fewer threads and fewer cores, when it comes to something like being able to encode and send a video stream to a streaming service like Twitch or YouTube than you would with a processor with fewer threads and fewer cores. They found that's completely true. The Ryzen 7 1700 with 8 cores and 16 threads pretty much just destroys the 7700K. Although the 7700K can give you better strict gaming performance when all you're doing is gaming, when you're adding the additional stress of gaming and streaming at the same time, the 1700 is clearly the better option.
Yeah.
At least in this specific testing scenario. Like we said, there's different ways to set up a stream. There's HEVC encoding that you can do on an NVIDIA GPU. There is H264 encoding that you can do with the iGPU from an Intel CPU as well. They weren't necessarily diving into this. They were mostly focused on CPU streaming for this specific test. But they did a great job, I thought, of laying out how the test was run, giving you the side-by-side stream quality comparisons, and kind of teasing you, not letting you know what is which one is which at first, so you can sort of get the impression before you know which one was which. I thought that was a good way of doing it.
Sure.
So Ryzen 1700 pretty much wins if you're going to be gaming and streaming at the same time. That's definitely a much better option than Intel's 4-core, even 4-core with hyper-threading options.
Christmas.
Jiminy Christmas.
There's a big-ass dog.
Hero.
About to...
Wow. He's on top of things.
Hero, I love you.
Yeah.
You're the best.
So yeah, if you guys are interested in some more detail, check out Gamers Nexus. They did a great bit of testing there, and I highly recommend reading the article, watching the video.
Absolutely.
It's good stuff. Okay, final story here for tech news, and this is, I'm sorry, for Hot and Heavy Hardware. This is about a Dell monitor that was recently announced, but has gotten a bit of pushback for it. This is the Dell U2518D monitor. It is a 25-inch 60Hz IPS display, 2560 by 1440 resolution. It's got HDMI 2.0 and DisplayPort 1.2. It's got very thin bezels, and as you can probably tell from the picture here, is being advertised as being HDR compliant. However,
but it is not.
Even though it has a $500 price tag, it doesn't necessarily have the rest of the specs when it comes to the strict hardware performance that you would need to line up with HDR compliance. That being, it only is an 8-bit panel instead of 10-bit, so your color depth is obviously suffering there. HDR10, which is the standard that's been established by like the Xbox One S and so on, requires a 10-bit panel.
Yep.
It's also only got 350 nits of brightness, which is low for HDR, so you want a contrast ratio of like 1001 or better, true contrast ratio for HDR as well, so it just doesn't seem to match up to that. Guru 3D pointed out specifically that this monitor offers support for Dell HDR, which is simulated software-based HDR mode that responds to HDR10 content on Dell's display, but falls short of the color gamut, peak luminance, and bit depth that is necessary for true HDR. So, the moral...
It's like semi-false advertising, like it's HDR10 compatible, but it doesn't quite pack all the specs it needs to actually deliver that sort of quality.
It's probably giving you a little bit more than your typical 8-bit IPS display, but certainly not giving you the HDR experience. So
that it's advertising.
Keep an eye out for this type of thing, and it's a good thing that there are people closely monitoring the specs, resolutions, and feature support of products that are launched by large companies like Dell to make sure that they are staying honest.
Yeah.
All right. I have to pee. It's okay, though.
Me too.
Let's switch to sword fight.
Sword fight!
We're going to argue about stuff, and specifically here we're going to argue about the Threadripper retail packaging that you guys may or may not be familiar with. Hold on.
Oh boy.
What?
Threadripper packaging. This is the debate of the century right here.
Yeah, it kind of is.
This is very serious stuff. All right, what do you got first, Paul?
So here we go.
Oh, is anyone else kind of getting tired of this vibe from the AMD Ryzen Threadripper packaging?
Not tired. So I tweeted this yesterday.
Okay.
So this is the Ryzen Threadripper packaging on the left side here.
Yep.
We already kind of covered this on Kyle's.
Who's that in the right?
You don't recognize that?
No.
Really?
It looks kind of familiar, but I can't pinpoint it.
It's Jurassic Park.
Is that the egg?
No, it's a amber.
Oh, the amber.
It's an insect that's trapped in the amber.
This is the first Jurassic Park?
Yeah, at the beginning of the first Jurassic Park, when they're going over like how this is all working out, and they talk about the amber. He's in the amber mine and he pulls it out.
Somehow I have forgotten that very crucial part of the movie. So that's what it was a foreign language. Okay, no wonder I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's feeling I got. So just from the look at it right here. So
Did you do this image? Or
yeah, I put this side by side.
You put this side by side. Okay, it was you.
Yeah, that's my tweet.
Okay.
So we have the packaging right here. It's also been shown by Lisa Sue. Hold on.
Lisa Sue for scale.
Yeah.
Lisa Sue, where are you?
I can't type.
Us. We love ya. We love you, girl. Oh yeah.
Here's Hexus.net.
Good lord.
It's the same picture. All right, it's the same damn picture.
Yeah, it's a great picture.
All right, there's the picture with Lisa Sue.
Yep.
All right, so it's obviously reasonably large size here. I'm only showing you this so you can see kind of the actual thing. It's curved around the outside.
Of course.
On the inside, there is what appears to be sort of a luminance going on with the processor held internally there.
Yeah, I see it.
So my question to people was like, obviously this is what I'm seeing out of it, and I asked a bunch of people like what else they saw out of it. So I got lots of good responses, which I thought was pretty good. A data even threw in there. So like Wendell, this is what Wendell thought.
Oh.
Wendell said
nice.
it.
Yeah, okay, so he's not the only one. Okay.
I have Sarin.
Great.
Owen said, HAL 9000. So obviously we have quite a few options here. We had some people who said it looked like this old TV. This one I threw in there too. Reminds me more of the Animaniacs toe-headed alien if viewed from the front. I just thought that was unique, so I threw that in there as well. So obviously there's Lisa Sue with it. Looks like a Macintosh, an old Mac or something like that. We got Indy here,
Really?
And, no, you're not.
Oh no, Indy's good. Indy's fine. Yeah.
That's in. I don't know what that is. Yeah, so Indy in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So here is what we're going to be arguing right now. And if you guys are interested in chat and you want to argue this along with us, please feel free to go and make a vote on that. But what do you think? I'm obviously going to go for the first one.
Okay.
But.
Que lindo eres.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park intro.
What do you think, though?
I'm going to say HAL 9000. As I was saying, HAL 9000 from 2001 Space Odyssey. It's a classic. Clearly a basis of imitation. Everyone's, of course, going to try to copy HAL 9000. He's the most badass.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's all I got. That's all I fucking got, man. That's all I got.
Killed that whole IPA, didn't you?
I killed the whole IPA 10.8% that you sickened me with. I can't.
That's
I cannot
my fault
function,
there.
sir.
That's a strong argument.
I'm so done.
I mean, I obviously argue for Jurassic Park because
that's
what I saw when I saw the picture. All right, and let's
I didn't even recognize that. I was like, "What? Where's the Jurassic Park reference?" But that's just me. I just didn't. I'm just dumb. I didn't get it.
You didn't? Oh, the Jurassic Park thing.
But I don't doubt that. That's very.
But see, let's compare. So this is the Intel packaging for their Core X series, right?
Which is hideous.
Did we ever have a discussion about this?
No, but it looks horrible. It looks horrible. It looks like they went to a rave and didn't try.
It's there. It's straightforward or whatever.
It looks like a really bad rave decision.
Yeah.
To get this blackout with some neon colors, no.
But I don't know. For some reason, AMD with this, I don't know what it is about this part of it, but it seems like it's glowing or whatever, or something like that makes it stand out more.
It has a weird sort of shimmery effect, but I think that it just the shape of it looks so retro.
What we should also be pointing out, more practically speaking, is a lot of people pointed out that the size of this clearly seems to potentially indicate. I say clearly, potentially indicates that there's a all-in-one liquid cooler in there, because that's been one of the rumors. Is that it's going to.
I don't know though. I don't think it looks big enough to fit.
Maybe.
And I mean,
it depends.
Maybe,
depends on what's going on in there.
I don't know. I I can't, from a business standpoint, I can't imagine AMD including like a 120mm AIO with their CPU and keeping the cost as low as it is, as it's been advertised so far. I have a feeling that they're just expecting enthusiasts who buy their CPU to automatically already have at least a 240mm AIO, which I feel like is pretty reasonable. I feel like most people buying Threadripper probably either have
we've already said,
have a 240.
We've already said like you probably can't use any existing coolers on Threadripper.
Well, I'm saying like ones that become available after Threadripper launches. Oh. Like, don't you think that there are CPU cooler manufacturers out there who have already been designing and sort of planning?
I think based
AIO
on the
coolers
TDP of Threadripper, it's going to require a good amount of cooling. But I also think any cooling that goes onto Threadripper is going to need to be completely new. So I think it would be practical to a certain degree for them to do something like that and ship a liquid cooler with Threadripper. Whether they have two versions,
that
whether
at
it's
least
like
fits.
Here's this version for $1,000 for the Threadripper 16 core that comes with just the CPU. Here's this version for $1,100 that comes with the CPU and a liquid cooler or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to go about that, but it does seem like it's going to need a pretty substantial amount of cooling.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the main point, which is what does the Threadripper retail packaging remind you guys of? And see what people think.
Definitely nothing that could fit a 240 rack.
The Eye of Sauron, ever watchful atop Barad-dûr. The great-eyed, lidless, wreathed in flame. I was gonna add more there.
Barad-dûr even has like the appropriate
I didn't
accent.
include the umlaut or whatever that is called on top of that.
Awesome.
But I did get second place with the Jurassic Park intro. Lindo eres. It's a great line. And then, of course, third place, CRT TV or monitor. HAL 9000 came in pretty low, further down. Did have a few votes at least for the Animaniacs option there. Thanks to you guys for voting in our survey. And now, let us move on to the final segment of my half of the show, which is Q&A. So we're going to answer questions that have been asked, most likely via the donations that people have submitted. You guys are awesome if you've been sending us donations.
Indeed.
Wonderful people.
Yes.
Where does Kyle's half end and my half begin?
That's a good question, Paul.
Oh, here we go. Paul's donations. Thank you, Sel. El Jefe Reviews, $5 donation, says, sup with those 4XL Stave Positive shirts, Kyle. Been waiting for days.
Yeah.
Days, bro.
Now you got them.
It's coming. Is it soon?
Soon. Very soon.
Is that new?
They're on their way. 4X?
You just posted that?
Yes.
Like now?
Yeah.
After the live show?
I've been multitasking during the live show,
You posted a new video during my half of the live show?
Yes, because it's
What a
been
dick.
uploading since 3 hours ago, Paul.
What a dick.
It's a 31-minute video.
So?
It is a half an hour
Is it
video.
4K?
No.
So why did it take so long?
That's just how, because I have a paid YouTube channel, Paul, that I have to upload to twice technically because
So
not everyone can access it.
Is this on your paid channel or the main one?
This is on Bitwit Ultra. This is on the Patreon channel as well as my main channel, all at the same time. I had to upload 3 half-hour videos to YouTube today at the same time, which is why after finishing editing the video at like 12 noon, it's just now posting here at nearly 8 p.m. But it's a great video. It's a great half-hour video that you should all watch right now about the new Evolve ship.
As soon as my half ends.
As soon as Paul's half is over.
And you've watched.
Get your priorities
and you've watched
straight,
whoever.
people.
And you've watched whoever we do the Twitch raid to as well.
Yes. 12 hours.
After all that.
Wait at least 12 hours before you watch my video.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
Luke F. Again, $5 donation.
Luke!
Kyle, you derp. When I asked you to bark twice, why didn't you say maybe you should check out Bitwit Ultra? Do you even sell, bro? I think Kyle just sold Bitwit Ultra. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either, but
I don't know. Sure. I don't remember the bark twice thing, but
But I've been very diligent about like pushing Bitwit Ultra on my regular videos. Like I've been
all over the place.
Very, very vocal about it.
Chai Cohen, $5. Hey Paul, not sure you saw my Twitter message. I would love to help you work on your outdoor workbench. I'm at Chai Cohen on Twitter for contact. Chai, I will keep a very weather eye out for you. I'm sorry if I've missed you. I get a ton of people hitting me up on Twitter, and I try my best to keep up with it, but it's not always possible. But I'll keep an eye out because especially people who've been offering help in that area, I'm very interested in.
Indeed.
And I hope I can find you there. Scott Dilbeck, another $6.66.
Dilbeck!
Enjoy your sushi, ladies. Kyle, I'm going to come edit myself into Pimp My PC next week and leave.
Okay.
All right. It's good. Then it won't take any effort on our parts.
For sure.
Hot Noodles 2K1, $10 donation. Built my first PC based on Paul RGB build. It's awesome. 1080 Ti or 1080 Ti OC. Well, OC, obviously, if you have the option. Why not? But I'm glad you're able to build your first PC build based on my RGB build. That's awesome. Pup Shepherd, $5. Kyle, what is your shirt size? P.S. Paul, how is the Shepherd faring? P.S.S. Take a look at my channel for my latest film noir trailer, The Unsolved Case. The Unsolved Case. The Shepherd faring, I don't know what you mean. If you mean my dogs are in pretty good shape, except when they freak out and start barking. Kyle, your shirt size? Medium?
My medium.
Kyle's medium.
Yes, I'm medium. Solid medium.
Stephen Hill, $20. Thanks, Pup, by the way. Stephen Hill, $20 donation. Thank you, Stephen, for that. Caught your half this time, Paul. The IT guy at work is going on vacation next week, and I'm the most proficient person. I get to run the servers. God help us. I would feel the same way if I was in your situation. IT, the finer points of IT are still lost on me. Davey Chow!
Davey Chow!
$10 donation. The Samsung Gear VR headset is pretty cool. 360 porn is really interesting. I honestly sit there and look around more than I look at the model right now. Games are fun too. 360 porn though. Wow. I mean, that is a stellar recommendation for the 3D porn, the 360 porn. Haven't tried that, so just something we have to look forward to, I guess, if you're not already into it.
Sure. Yeah, I think I'll contribute.
Good. That's good. Dorflop69, $20. Thank you, sir. Paul, do you remember the Foxconn Destroyer motherboard and how much for autographs? I don't typically charge for autographs, or at least I haven't in the past. The Foxconn Destroyer motherboard, ooh, I'd have to delve into the archives to pull that up. Foxconn hasn't made direct motherboards for quite some time. They kind of pulled out of that, and I don't recall exactly when. I do remember Foxconn motherboards. I don't remember the Destroyer specifically.
Neither do I.
Would be curious to look that up, though. Thank you, Dorflop.
Justin 63. $10. Paul, get fidget spinners so I can have one from each of you. Side note, I enjoy watching this at work. Paul, I think you've been called to officially launch fidget spinners on your store. That is 3 bottle caps, which is not a fidget spinner in any way.
Fidget spinners.
But, you know, it's the beginning of something that could be great. So I think you should just hop on the bandwagon with me. Okay. We'll have a blast. Thank you very much, Justin. Next up we got Coda for $10. No comment. Thank you very much, Coda.
Thanks, Coda.
Irish Acousticer for the $5. Is Crossfire and SLI going extinct? Because Ubisoft hates supporting them.
It's definitely been cut down from like support for 3-4-way stuff to just 2-way. I think 2-way you'll see sticking around for at least a while. It's always been spotty on support for it, but I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. It's just an easy way for GPU manufacturers to be able to say, look, now it's twice as fast, even though it's not quite that same way all the way across the board. But yeah, definitely more limited support for it than we've seen in the past. But I'm still cool with 2-way.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
No doubt.
Zach Salem, $5 donation. Hey
guys, just got an Lian Li LIPC A77F for free. My PSU is old and has very short cables. New PSU or extensions. Looking for the cheapest options. Thanks. So he's wondering if he should get a new pad.
If you're looking for the cheapest option, then extensions might be your best bet, but also consider the platform that you're on, and consider that any PSU that's prior to the Haswell time frame, which is say anything more than 3-4 years old, might have more limitations when it comes to the low power states that modern platforms can actually work with. So you might consider just upgrading your PSU, because if you have a very old one, it might just be that time.
Yeah.
But thank you, Zach.
Next up we got Witness K for the 5 Canadian. Hey guys, it's advertised that Ryzen and Threadripper probably will maybe support 4000 megahertz RAM. Know of any sticks that actually work at those speeds?
Yeah, G-Skill has kits that are rated for 4000 speed. I believe Corsair does as well. Yeah, it's just one of those things that it's like they can have kits that they know can be tested and work at that speed, but does the CPU that you are using actually work at that speed as well? It just depends, and it's luck of the draw. And yeah, beyond the manufacturer listed rated speeds, which for Intel goes up to like what 2666 and thereabouts. And,
yeah,
you're not going to get guaranteed, but I will say right now Intel has better support for higher speed memory.
Yeah. And it also partially depends on like your motherboard BIOS and what they've allowed support for.
Yeah.
But you should be okay if you go with either Corsair or G-Skill for the most part. I feel like that's those are the best results that I've seen so far. But we've got SG Mansfield for the $5, itching to build a compact Threadripper build. Think it'll work? Looking at making an ITX beast in early 2018, probably.
I would not expect to see ITX Threadripper
unless you have
at all. I have a feeling that's probably not going to exist.
X399 won't exist.
I really doubt it.
No
it's huge. The socket is huge. It is a massive socket.
Someone's gonna do it though,
and it should maybe ASRock will do one like they did with the X299 or whatever, which was also fairly impractical or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna have support for quad channel memory. You're gonna lose out on a lot of the stuff for the platform.
Yeah.
So the practicality of making something that small with something like Threadripper, it just doesn't make as much sense.
True.
Ryzen, like you can make an 8-core, really nice 8-core Ryzen CPU system, and there's already ITX boards for that.
Yeah.
And it'd be fine there. I don't see it happening on Threadripper.
Yeah.
Micro ATX probably, I hope, but I wouldn't expect to see an ITX board for Threadripper, at least not one that doesn't make some really, really serious limitations on the overall capabilities of the board.
Oh.
Joel Balsita.
For the $5, catching this wonderful stream again live. Also, one day a mirror will pass under Clark, and it'll see itself, and that's the day we will have to worry about.
And then will it gather itself to be recycled? And then will it make more Clark robots that recycle other things?
Ah, yes.
That's what I assume.
Ultimate question. Thank you very much, sir. We've got Checker Tile LOL for the $5 on your Ryzen 3 build. Do you suggest adding more case fans? Is it needed for a Ryzen 3 build?
Probably
I would not. Imagine not.
You're dealing with less heat output due to lower frequencies.
Lower frequencies. You should be good. You probably don't even you probably need like 1 or 2 case fans, to be honest, and you'll be fine. Because they're just not running at quite as fast as speeds as the higher end stuff. Matt Bond, $5. Paul, you magnificent bastard, can join IP on me. Kyle, you're cool too. I'll get you next week.
Thank you, Matt.
Very much, Matt. We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you so much.
Mac Drew 421, $5. Already started watching Kyle's new video. Awesome. Also, you think the high $800 buy-in to AMD Threadripper will kill the X399 platform? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Right now, all they have to worry about is competing against Intel, and if they can show that those CPUs are really good value options as compared to Intel's high-end desktop platform, then they'll be good. I also think there's a pretty good chance that they're going to be releasing lower core count options as well that are slightly more reasonable, so that like Intel, there will be some sort of somewhat more cost-effective option to buy into X399. Like, I'd like to be able to get an X399 platform with like a $400-ish CPU that's maybe a 10-core or something like that.
Sure.
You know, a little bit better than what you get with Ryzen, but something that you can kind of get on there, and then maybe you've got an option to upgrade in the future or something like that. That's always been something that's very useful. But yeah, we'll see how things play out. But for now, it seems like they're doing 2 CPUs when they actually launch.
Yeah.
Wifey Sauce.
Wifey Sauce, this is my wife. $5. This is my first donation. I think you deserve it more than my husband. Thanks, honey.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Wifey Sauce. You can't wait to get home.
If
share this information.
Heather, if you're watching, you should come out and join us for sushi.
Yes,
it's gonna be awesome. Speaking of which, we need to finish.
Absolutely.
We're gonna run out of time.
Jay Everett, $20. Really enjoyed both channels. Paul loved the NAS video a while back. How about an update on how it's working for your channel? Kyle, would love to hear about your storage backup solutions. Thanks. Keep up the great content.
Jay, I need to do an update on my NAS build because basically the USB drive that the NAS operating system was running on failed, and I have not updated it since then. I can rebuild the ZFS file system. Oh, Hero, don't do that. Okay. I can rebuild the ZFS file system with that, but I actually think I want to upgrade the base platform on it soon. So, yeah, I do have some more stuff coming up on that very soon. All right, we have some really quick Johnsons to shout out. Oh, my God, I have quite a few.
All right.
I'm going to do these quickly.
Do it
Jacob Johnson, thank you so much. Jacob from Arizona. Donna from Massachusetts, thank you so much as well. Donna Johnson, for you. Zachary A. Johnson, for you as well. With the pub glass and thumb screw. Thank you much, Zachary. Do you have a ton as well?
Victor Fidget Spinner Johnson to you.
Richard, thank you, Johnson. Richard, for you. You're just super
Michael Fidget Spinner, love you.
Cole from Utah. Thank you so much, Cole.
Scene, S-E-I-N, sign CPU cooler shirt. Thank you very much, sir.
Quinn from Michigan. Quinn, that's Quinn, right?
Yeah,
it looks like Quinn from Michigan. Thank you, Quinn.
Jacob, that might be a double Johnson. Thank you, sir, for picking up a couple shirts and
Jesper from Sweden. Oh my gosh, all the way from Sweden. Shirt and a pub glass. Thank you so much.
Zachary, CPU cooler shirt and fidget spinner. Zachary.
Justin from Illinois. Thank you so much, Justin. Johnson.
Richard, stay positive shirts and some mugs.
Justin from Oregon. You're my final Johnson. Thank you so much for getting the 034 shirt.
Armando Fidget Spinner, thank you very much, sir. Armando. And Matthew for picking up a BIOS Flasher shirt. Johnson to you, Matthew. We've also got one from Quinn Kaz for
Quinn, that's a double Johnson.
Double Johnson for picking up a Fidget Spinner, of course. And then we got one from Aja for picking up another fidget spinner. Aja, you clear crazy bastard. Fidget spinner again for Cole. Thank you very much, Cole. Johnson to you, sir. We got one from Derek for picking up a fidget spinner. Once again, you really need to sell fidget spinners. Fidget spinners are literally the hottest selling item I have ever sold on my store. I've never had such a ludicrous sale.
Oh my God.
Scott, fidget spinner. Thank you, Scott, for picking up a freaking spinner. Alright, this is going to be different. Jesper for picking up a CPU
double Johnson.
CPU cooler shirt, Bitly Gray logo shirt, and a fidget spinner, of course. Thank you very much, Scott. We got a couple more here. This is very, very, very close. Michael for picking up a Evolution shirt and fidget spinner. So many fidget spinners. Travis! Words in the circle. Fidget spinner. CPU cooler shirt. Travis Johnson to you, sir. There's 2 more here that we have to address. We have one from Justin for picking up a pair of tall boy glasses and a fidget spinner. And then we've got one more for Eric Duane for picking up a BIOS Flasher shirt and CPU cooler shirts. That is all. That was all for me.
Thank
God. Good Lord. Okay, maybe.
Thanks to all you guys who have bought fidget spinners.
Christ.
I apparently need to get fidget spinners too.
That's
just the thing. All right, we're gonna end the show as we usually do by doing a
Twitch raid.
A raid. If you guys are watching live and you want to check out a Twitch channel,
which you should,
as recommended by our moderator self-processing, Katia Graves.
Katia Graves
is who you're going to go check out. Twitch.tv/Katia Graves. KATIYA _ Graves. GRAVES. Go check her out. I'm assuming it's a she.
It's a her. It's a she.
It is a she?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell her we sent you.
Yep.
It's Twitch
Rate the shit out of her.
And it's going to be awesome. Thanks, you guys, for watching this episode of Awesome Hardware, of course. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. And we thank you guys for watching live or watching in the future. You're all awesome. And we love your support. Great people.
Bye, guys. See you later. Have a good night.
Sushi?
Oh, my God.